Neanderthals never went extinct. You are literally one of them. So this is a very interesting subject, and one that I've been fascinated with for quite a long time. And I actually wrote an essay about it on my Substack. And the title of my essay is Neanderthals Never Went Away. They are still here. Love transcends time, a prehistoric romance in the modern world. And so basically, the position that I hold is in line with Matua Jacques Derrida. I totally reject binaries and linear. I don't agree with it. And so if we just examine the evidence alone, and this is an entirely defensible position, if we just look at the evidence alone, what we find is that the sort of popular narrative that you had this interspecies war, and the humans wiped out all the other species and so on and so forth, is a complete load of crap. And that basically they were not thinking in terms of species, they were thinking in terms of tribe. And so what you had was a dispersal of tribes that were multi-species, essentially. So within one tribe, you would have X amount of humans, X amount of Neanderthals, and so on and so forth. Again, excavations confirm this, and so on and so forth. And so basically, they are all sort of warring with each other, allying with each other, eating each other, kidnapping one another, making love, essay, I know it's dark, but it happens. Kidnapping, adoption, all of these sort of drama, all of this sort of, interplay between them. And that at the end of this struggle, assuming it ended at all, the humans are the ones that remain. But I would argue that actually they all remain. And this is the reason why. We all have Neanderthal DNA in us. We all have, Australopithecus in us. We all have all of these different species within us. And certainly at the time, they were thinking more in terms of tribe. And so you could have a Neanderthal groom, a human bride, and then the other way around, and so on and so forth. And so the question of, was it one species that sort of won out is not entirely sort of fair, but rather what happened was a kind of fusion of the different species. Now, that's not to deny that the human genetic imprint, if you will, is the dominant one. And what I argue is that essentially there were just so many humans that they outnumbered the others, and more or less just everyone got absorbed into this one big soup. And that is my explanation for the phenomenon of Neanderthals. And so they never sort of went extinct in the sort of tragic interspecies genocidal war that is commonly portrayed, but rather they were simply absorbed into the larger group. And so, philosophically speaking, you could argue that you are just as much Neanderthal as you are Homo sapien.